fine and everything nice.
Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, as you may have already read by the title, I'm going to be doing a visual diary including 23 new things that I've learned so far in the year 2023. Now, that's a little fabricated as some of these things I've been knowing, but in my defense, they've become more evident to me this year, so it still counts. Anyway, enough with the rambling, let's get on with this video. Also, do not forget to let me know in the comments down below if you like this and if you guys would want more of these in the future. Okay, for real this time. Let's get on with the video. Now, you may be wondering as to what exactly a visual diary is, and there is no definitive definition of the terminology online, so today I'll be providing you with my very own. In my personal opinion, a visual diary is a collection of visuals, photos, or images in which can be utilized to help someone convey a message. That message can be about anything, including their own personal experiences, or even a topic they want to help others gain clarity on. So, anyway, now that you know exactly what a visual diary is, or at least my own personal perception of it, we shall now get into the 23 things I've learned this year. But for real this time. One thing that I've learned so far in 2023 is the importance of not just receiving love, but giving and reciprocating love as well. It is just as vital for us to love other people rather than just to solely receive love itself. In regard to this, love also does not always need to be reciprocated in order for it to be valued. It's okay to still love and care about someone even if they don't necessarily feel the same way anymore. Our primary purpose of existence as humans is simply to experience, and in that experience comes with the experience of love. Don't be afraid to love someone in fear of it not being reciprocated because it truly does not matter. Think of it like this: I love you, and that's all that matters to me. You may not love me anymore, but that's okay because I love you, and that's enough for me. This seems to be paradoxical, but I can assure you that withholding this mindset allows you to continue to love people unconditionally even after experiencing a heartbreak or even heartbreaks. Remember, perception rules everything. It's not about the experience itself, but it's about your perception of the experience. The second thing I learned is that it is perfectly okay to love someone from a distance. Sometimes people aren't good for us and no longer serve a purpose in our life anymore, and that's okay. And knowing this, it's important to love them from a distance rather than allowing them back in. They're gone for a reason, so keep it that way. In divine timing, if things are meant to be, then maybe in the future they will work out between you two. But until then, distance is key. Remember, like I said before, they are not in your life for a reason. They no longer serve a purpose. So them not being in your life anymore is perfectly okay. In fact, things wouldn't be the way that they are if it wasn't for a reason. And that kind of sort of transitions into my next fact, or my next new thing that I've learned. The third thing that I've learned is that everything that occurs within the span of one's life occurs within such a precise manner. Everything meticulously plays out the exact way that it is meant to. When you perceive things to be going wrong in your life, sometimes you just have to trust that the Creator, Source, or God has your best interest at heart, because they do. Trust in God, the universe, Source, or whomever which you like to call it. Have that faith in all that is, and you will be okay. Even in moments where you don't feel that way, continue to hold faith, and I promise you that life will gradually become so much easier when you truly realize that you cannot be in control of everything. Sometimes you just have to let go and put it in the hands of a higher power in order to truly be okay. The fourth thing that I learned is that it's okay to not be prepared for everything. Life is rarely ever predictable. I've spent so much of my life these past 3 years trying to make sure that I'm prepared for any and everything due to my fear of inadequacy and failure. I had to realize that there is no possible way to be aware of whatever is next to come within life, so it is better to try to focus solely upon the present moment and whatever it is that I can control in the now. In doing so, everything will fall into place just as it is meant to. Trusting in this notion has made my existence seem less mundane and chore-like because it no longer feels as though I have to deny myself of the various pleasures of life in order to prepare for whatever it is to come in the immediate future. Always remember that anything that happens among life will only transpire because it is meant to, regardless of any fixed quantity of preparation. For instance, if it is someone's preordained fate to die in a fatal car crash, it will occur regardless of any attempts of preparing the person attempts to do in order to prevent it from happening. Sometimes bad things happen, and that's okay. They only happen because they are meant to. The fifth thing that I learned is that failure is only as negative as you make it. I like to perceive failure as something that will help to set me up for prosperity and success in the future. For it is through failure that we are able to learn from our past mistakes in order to not repeat them again. Use your moments of failure to motivate you to do better in the future. And again, use them as a prime example of what not to do again. It is not the end of the world when you fail. Remember to breathe and try to perceive the situation for what it truly is, and not just what your ego subjects it to be. The sixth thing that I learned is to let go of wanting to be in control of everything. Again, life is rarely ever predictable, so there will be instances where you will have to deal with situations that are completely out of your control, and that is perfectly okay. Rather than focusing on the things in life that you cannot control, focus on what it is that you can control. For instance, focus not on what other people say to you, but your reaction to whatever it is that they say. Of course, you cannot control what other people say to you, but you can indefinitely control how you react and how you respond to whatever it is, again, that they say. You can either choose to not allow the situation to bring you to a point in which, you have to waste your energy on something that truly doesn't matter, or you can choose to, again, choose peace. But anyway, slowly but surely, it is important to release any need of control in your life, and you will see a drastic decrease in the production of cortisol, or the stress hormone within your body. There's no way that you will be able to stress over situations that you cannot control if you instead choose to just not stress over them. Also, don't stress the small stuff, which kind of goes with what I just said. Again, if it's not in your control, why worry? You literally cannot control it. So instead, focus on the things that you can control. Focus on the aspects of your life that you have jurisdiction over. And I promise you, life will feel so much easier. The seventh thing that I've learned is that it is important to open yourself to the unknown. Rather than focusing solely upon the redundancy of life, focus on the infinite sea that is possibility. Expand your mind to ambiguity. It may be uncomfortable at first, but that is optimum. You must become comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to truly live life to its fullest extent. So, as I stated previously, instead of focusing on how repetitive things can be in life, focus on chance, possibility, potentiality. Focus on what can occur within your life. Focus on the things that you want to occur, and focus on the possibility of those things becoming a reality. And with that point, also transitions to the eighth thing that I've learned, in which denotes the feeling of being uncomfortable being optimum. You will not always be you will not always be comfortable in life, and that is perfectly okay. We as humans must aim to remove the negative stigma often placed around the idea of uncomfortability, as it is not inimical. It is important to step outside of the box and open your mind to potentiality due to that very uncomfortability. You never truly know how things may transpire. You going to that party, for instance, despite being uncomfortable with the idea of such, may potentially lead to you finding your new soulmate, or anything else that you might be searching for in life. You truly never know, so don't ever be so quick to knock something without trying it out first. Again, open your mind to possibility. Anything can happen. You truly never know. So, like I said, don't be so quick to knock something before you try it out. The ninth thing that I've learned is that instead of focusing on how things within your life could go wrong, focus on how things could go right. Again, open yourself to possibility, for nothing in life is ever truly guaranteed. Yeah, there's a possibility that you could fail, but what about the possibility of you succeeding as well? Don't allow doubt to overflow your ability to prosper within life. The 10th thing that I've learned is that destruction is just as beautiful as creation, as there cannot be one without the other. The universe works within terms of duality, meaning that one thing cannot truly exist without the existence of its antithetical as well. With that being said, the fear of death is unnecessary. You cannot have life without death. Therefore, it is something to be embraced. We all die one day, so rather than resisting the inimical fact, we may as well come to accept it. With this in mind, the 11th thing that I've learned is that darkness is just as important as light. Therefore, the bad times are just as imperative as the good times. You cannot truly have one without the other. And even if such a thing was possible, you'll never truly come to appreciate the good if it was also all you were able to experience. It is in times of deplorability that one truly comes to appreciate the good times. We as humans tend to become less appreciative of things we become accustomed to. So why would it be any different in this scenario? With all this being said, learn to have complacency even in moments of sadness, anger, or contempt, because there is no point in resisting it. It is a natural part of human emotions that is vital to the human experience. Therefore, learn to embrace it, and it will become much easier to navigate. And again, thing number 12 that I have learned also kind of coincides with what I just precedingly formulated. With this being said, it is okay to not always be okay. We often place detrimental notions around the idea of sadness when it is something that we should again embrace. All it means is that you're a human and that you can feel things just as a human typically does. The whole point of us being here is to experience the world as it is, and with that experience comes both the good and the bad. Both are equally as important. It is unreasonable to consider one to be better than the other. Allow yourself to feel your emotions to the fullest, regardless of the kind in which it is. The only way to truly ever conquer sadness, or any emotion that is to just embrace it. Let it be as it is, never to attempt to push it to the side. The 13th thing that I've learned is that death is not truly the end, but merely a new beginning. The very essence of your soul is comprised of energy, just as everything else contained within this dimension of existence. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. Think of death as the transference of your soul or energy from your current physical vessel and into the vast intricacy that is space. This is another reason why death shall not be feared. The 14th thing that I've learned is that it is important to truly love yourself before you can be capable of loving someone else. It is also important to become unequivocally content with your own presence in order to prevent the overconsumption of someone else in your life. It is much easier to reduce attachment issues when you realize that you don't need anyone or anything to achieve true happiness. True happiness comes from within you. Anything outside of you can never give you true happiness. Maybe a temporary sense of pleasure, but instant gratification usually always leads to suffering long term. The point is, stop seeking for others to make you happy and to be fulfilled, and instead seek yourself, for that is the only way you will ever truly be happy. The 15th thing that I've learned is that we don't think thoughts, but we instead receive them from the subconscious units of our mind that pick up stimuli and information from our external environment. Our brain is inherently eliminative and will exclude certain sensory information that it perceives to be of less importance. Some of this perpetual information can be picked up by the brain subconsciously, inducing your mind to continue to receive thoughts in accordance with not just your physical vibration, but also the information picked up by your brain as well. What I meant when I say your physical vibration is essentially the frequency of the energy that your body emits on the basis of your chakras. I could talk about this all day, but for the sake of brevity, I shall delve more into this topic in a future video. The 16th thing that I've learned is that reprogramming your subconscious mind to align with your desired reality, as well as conditioning your mind into the present rather than the past, is only as difficult of a feat as you make it. The more you realize that you are not your mind, but instead the observer of your mind, the easier it becomes. You will no longer associate your mind with your identity, but will instead perceive it as a separate entity to be evaluated, making the conditioning and the reprogramming much easier. Remember that you are not the mind itself, but rather you are the observer of the mind. The 17th thing that I've learned is that sometimes it's okay to be unproductive. We're humans, not robots. We are not fully capable of withstanding perpetual and continuous toil. We naturally need breaks in order to be able to restore our energy. A lack of breaks when utilizing energy can and will cause energy depletion, which is the exact opposite of what one should want. With all this being said, it's okay to have lazy days where you don't do anything besides lie in bed and watch your favorite movies all day. We don't only need physical breaks, but sometimes we need mental breaks too. Make sure to set time aside for yourself to be free of any mental afflictions. It's perfectly okay to do whatever it is that makes you happy, even if it denotes to unproductivity for a day or maybe even a week. The 18th thing that I've learned is that meditation is a truly vital aspect of life that everyone should partake in. It is a way to create syntropy out of total entropy. It is a way to enter into the quantum field of possibility and potentiality and to open yourself up to the unknown. Just like I was talking about earlier, it enables you to take your mind off of the three-dimensional material world and instead enter your internal ambiance full of nothing more than light and energy. We as humans are electrical beings, and with this being said, have electromagnetic fields surrounding our bodies. Meditation is one key way in which we are able to raise or elevate our vibrational frequency, in which strengthens our electromagnetic fields in tandem. The stronger the energy you emit, the more order will be restored amongst the essence of your very life, as it is your internal world that kind of like reflects your outer world. If you want to read more about this very subject, for those of you new to spirituality, I suggest you read the book Becoming Supernatural, for this is nothing more than a fraction of what the entire book encompasses. The 19th thing that I've learned is that the food you eat is very important with regard to your gut health. As someone with major stomach problems, this has become evident to me throughout the course of my entire life pretty much. Over the years, I've noticed that when I typically eat healthier and drink more water, of course, mental equanimity comes much easier to me. Our gut is sort of like a second brain, which is controlled by the food we eat. This is typically why we find ourselves much more irritable and less able to utilize our prefrontal cortex competently after eating foods that are absolutely terrible for our digestive systems. Additionally, in food being nothing more than just a source of energy for the body, it is important to ensure that the foods you are fueling your body with are adequate enough to provide an efficient quantity of energy. It is important that you are getting the sufficient amount of both energy and nutrients needed from the food you eat, and which can sometimes become blocked from being achieved due to the overconsumption of foods that aren't good for you. Food plays a major role in overall well-being, so make sure that you fuel your body with foods that will be efficient in doing so. It doesn't mean you have to cut down on the ice cream and such, but definitely eat them in moderation. For too much of anything is never good. And, this sounds it's easier said than done. And this is still something that I'm having to implement within my life. But again, just take everything one step at a time and you will eventually get to where you want to be at. The 20th thing that I've learned, finally, is that your chakras are an additional key aspect to restoring order, not just within your life, but within your body as well. Energy that is stuck or trapped within certain aspects of your various energy centers can contribute to feelings of inferiority, depression, despondency, and so much more. It is through focusing on moving the stagnant energy within these particular centers that enables liberation from any mental or physical afflictions. This is again why is it important to meditate, for it can aid within balancing all of the energy centers within your body, which will contribute to your mental, physical, and spiritual health all around. So in all, meditate frequently. I promise you will see drastic improvements within your life as a whole. The 21st thing that I've learned is that if you have the opportunity to play a sport of any kind, and this is of course if you are in school. If you're not in school, then this doesn't apply to you. I mean, you can still play a sport even if you're not in school, or if you're not in school, don't listen to this advice, I guess, because you obviously can't really play a sport or join a team, but you can pick up like some sort of like physical, hobby. You just partake in any type of physical activity that you can, running, whatever, playing tennis, whatever you want to do in your free time. Just make sure you find something to do that will contribute to your physical health. But anyway, if you have the opportunity to play a sport of any kind, last school year as a freshman with absolutely no running experience, I tried out for my high school's track and field team, and I can hands down say that it was probably the best decision I've made within my life recently. In the midst of this past track season, I've learned so many things that I feel I couldn't learn without the help of this very sport. Of course, I probably could have learned it, but it would have came to me in a different way, and I feel like this way was like the most beneficial way. Not only did I learn the importance of companionship, but I also learned the importance of resilience. After the very first day of practicing, I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up because I didn't believe that I was strong enough to keep going. But I did, and I made so many improvements that I never even knew I was capable of making. I became stronger both physically and mentally, and became better at persevering. Sorry, I kind of spelled that wrong. Overall, life became a lot easier because I knew how to endure it and deal with the difficult stuff pretty well. Running may not be your thing, but I suggest that you try out for any other sport you may be interested in, because you never know. It may change your mindset about life. And it may open up it may open up a plethora of new windows that were never opened up before. The 22nd thing that I learned is it is okay to allow people in to perceive you for who you truly are, instead of this external projection of who they perceive you to be. I'm specifically speaking to myself when I say that, by the way. My entire life, I've struggled with my self-image and interacting with other people. Sometimes I find it hard to just be myself around people, especially those I'm not fond of or comfortable with. But as I've gotten older, I realized that there is beauty in allowing people to see the real you, regardless of what they may think about it. Some people will like you, and some will hate you, regardless of whatever you portray yourself to be. People disliking you is inevitable, so why try and put on an image to achieve the impossible? Getting everyone to like you, that is. Instead, be comfortable enough in yourself to show the real you, regardless of whoever's watching. You're not living your life for them. You're living your life for you. So, again, focus on what you want instead of what others want from you. And for the last and final thing that I've learned so far in 2023, it is that life is beautiful regardless of its many ups, downs, and twists and turns and, things of that nature. Existence in general is such a miraculous thing, and every day I thank the Creator for my opportunity to live, to feel, to love, to experience, and most importantly, to experience. I said the same thing twice. Don't worry about it. And I will never allow anything again, because I have allowed things in the past, but I will never allow anything again to make me lose sight of this existential truth. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. But anyway, I hope everyone watching this has been having an amazing year so far. My year has been full of many ups, downs, twists, and turns, like I said before, but overall, it's been pretty good. I've learned a lot. But anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, and don't forget to comment down below if I should make more videos like this in the future. See you in my next video, whatever kind of video that may be. Bye!